Hey guys, welcome back to the Bulldog Buzz. Last week we dropped a video about the trainer situation here at Becker High School, and thanks to amazing people like you, we got the attention of the district. In today's episode, we sit down with Superintendent Schmidt and hear what he has to say about everything. All right, first of all, I'd just like to thank you for meeting with us, and we've also noticed that there's been trainers at the last few events this week, so we really appreciate that. So first question is, there seems to be a lot of confusion and perhaps misinformation about the training situation at Becker Public Schools. Can you help the athletes, parents, and public understand like how we got to this point, and like, I guess, what is like the full trainer situation from your point of view?
Sure. Yeah, the trainer situation is pretty big. It's been a long process for us as well. It kind of started earlier in summer and late spring, even maybe with Mr. Nemi. We heard about this new requirement for the FLSA, and that trainers now are going to be required to have their master's degree. In accordance with that, or in agreement with that, what happened, or what NovaCare did, who we have our contract with, raised our rates over the last 3 years from 18,000 to 58,000 and change. And so that was a considerable increase. And so we looked at that, and probably around, I don't know, June or July of the year, maybe late July, I said, I wanted to work with NovaCare. They wanted 40 plus hours as well. And so what we did was we reached out to NovaCare. I actually wanted to bring in NovaCare to teach some classes on athletic training and things like that, but they wouldn't allow that with their staff because we don't have the need for 40 plus hours. We use a trainer about 30 to 32 hours a week.
Okay.
When they're full time. So in the past, that's what we've had with Mr. Kimmer as well. And so we tried to add that in because we were paying this extra fee. We were like, how can this benefit us? We didn't want somebody sitting in the training room without any need, essentially. So we worked with them on that, and they wouldn't allow that. But by the time we said we would do it, they're like, well, we don't have any trainers left as well. And so what they've done is Mr. Nemi has sent out our schedule, and they have tried to fill as many roles as possible. So if, like you said, you saw some trainers at previous events this week, we've had trainers at a large number of our events. I think from now, today is the 26th of September, but till October 30th, we have, I think, 5 or 6 days where we don't have a trainer on site for varsity competition. So we're pretty covered. We're working on some plans to get some coverage even on those 5 or 6 days as well with some doctors.
Okay. Were you surprised by the response on the video from our community?
I think there was some surprising pieces. What I didn't catch until probably the end, I had got on social media at the request of my wife. I don't really go on there much. But what I didn't understand, I guess, is that people thought that we didn't have a trainer at all. And my last post on there, it might be something you want to look at, where it just talks about having, we do have a trainer, we just don't have full coverage, and we don't have the same trainer. And I know people got really used to Mr. Kimmer being around all the time and having great relationships with our student athletes and things. But we do have a trainer as often as we can with NovaCare. We just don't have that continuity of coverage.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out, again, ways to get around that. I'm working with some doctors right now to get some contracts for some coverage on that as well.
Okay, so obviously at practices, like, we don't have trainers, so like before, during, and even after practice, there's no trainers. So if injuries were to happen there, that could be bad. So do you think that is acceptable or safe?
Well, I'd love to have a trainer all the time. I'm a former college athlete. Former high school athlete, obviously, as well. And I've been a coach, multiple sports. As a coach, I've been injured. As a player, I've been injured. I think having the trainer there does help with safety. But we also have a number of our coaches who are well trained and have been around activities for a long time, and so they know when an injury is serious or not serious. Obviously, if it's serious, even with a trainer on staff, we want to get medical attention from a doctor and things like that. But it'd be great if we could have somebody like we've had in the past. Just a matter of the coverage that's there, and we're again working on some opportunities for that as much as possible as we can.
All right, after viewing our report and viewing interviews of athletes and parents, has the video altered your position or understanding of like our athletic training issue?
I think it was something we've already been working on.
Mhm.
It was something that was brought to our attention. I also think that there's going to be some schools come January 1st when this FLSA comes into play, where trainers have to have higher requirements and they're going to start charging more for trainers. It's going to impact some other schools as well. And if they're not paying attention to this, they're going to be struggling as well. I think the video is great because it does provide an opportunity for me to get on social media or different places to communicate with our families and know that, so they know that we are looking into it and have been working on it. Uh, and it also creates that opportunity for them to say, hey, we're willing to step forward and we want to, if it creates a safer environment for our children, we're willing to pay a little more or whatever it is to make sure that they're safe and have this coverage.
Okay, so in one of your comments on one of the Facebook forums, you suggested that our report was just simply a hook. Can you explain what you meant by that?
I was under the impression that the assignment was a 3-part assignment where there was going to be like an introduction type of hook to get people to watch, kind of like I'm picturing it as like a Dateline NBC or some type of thing like that, or 60 Minutes, a hook, and then there was going to be lots of information in the second video, and then a solution was going to come
Mhm.
in the third video or third version of the situation. So that was my understanding of the assignment from
Mhm.
just speaking around with different staff members as well. So I could be wrong in that,
Mhm.
um, but it should be an attention grabber. I think any video you do at the beginning should have an attention grabber, just like a speech or something like that you're doing in the classroom.
Okay, so many of our parents' athletes and community members have suggested solutions to protect our athletes. Are you willing to consider any of the following ideas presented to you in the comments of the post? Like included like a very slight increase in like football game price, like maybe 50 cents to $1. So you guys said part of the issue was funding and that we don't have enough. So like if maybe we increase the price there, better fundraising or any other solutions that you are considering.
Yeah, there are a lot of solutions that we're looking at. One of them is the potential of having EMTs get in free to games. Was an idea that somebody shared with me. I don't know if that was on social media or via email, but having EMTs there. So, and they're not going to tape ankles or um, diagnose sprained ankles or anything like that. What they're going to do is be there for an emergency
Mhm.
situation and help keep people calm. Another option that we've talked about was just a trainer fee. So we do have the lowest fees in the conference, or had the lowest fees in the conference, and we're one of the lower ones in the conference. Um, do we put a trainer fee on our activities sign up when kids sign up? You pay the $200 or whatever it is per student athlete, and then there's a $50 trainer fee on there for that.
Mhm.
Uh, I also, like I said earlier, I'm working on contracts with a couple of doctors who are in the neighborhood who have children in school are interested in our athletes as well, and so they can come in. They're not necessarily athletic trainers, but some of them are doctors of physical therapy or have concussion training and things like that. Some of the things that are really important
Yeah.
to high school athletics. So those are some of the solutions we're looking at. I don't know if any of those were on social media or not, but I also did have a couple people reach out to me because of the social media posts and say, "Hey, I'm willing to help in any way possible," and I think that's a beneficial piece of that.
Okay, so in the past, you've said having a trainer is a luxury. Do you still stand by that?
I think not all schools have trainers. Again, I've been a coach and a athlete for a number of years growing up. When I was coaching, I was a head coach of basketball for 4 years of my first job, and then I've been an assistant coach for over 15 years. Um, and I coached softball and I coached other sports as well. Um, I've never had a trainer at the other schools I've been at. So whatever 4 other schools that I've been at as a coach, I've never had a trainer. So I can come tape your ankles. I'd be happy to do that. But a lot of the times the coaches have that responsibility in other school districts. I know our conference has a pretty good group of trainers that work in different schools. Some schools have multiple trainers, but there are a few schools that don't have a trainer. And I reached out to 32 schools just the other day as well. This was part of your Facebook post or whoever's Facebook post. But out of the 32 schools, only 14 responded with a trainer on site. One of them said they've had a contract for 5 years but haven't found a trainer for the last 3. And so it is something that's difficult. And I think it's going to be more difficult to find because of the qualifications for it, which goes back to what I was saying earlier with some of the students being trained in it. I think it'd have been great to bring in a trainer. We've got an officiating class we've been trying to work on and things. But having a trainer teach a training class, here's how
Mhm.
you prevent injuries, how you treat injuries and things like that. I think that's really important, and we were hoping to be able to get that with this cost.
All right. We greatly appreciate your time. Is there anything you believe has been like misconstrued by the media, or anything else you would like to end with and say?
No, I think the biggest thing was my misunderstanding, I guess, that people thought we didn't have a trainer, but we did have some coverage, and just trying to figure out ideas. And I'm open to anybody's ideas and thoughts. If they can email me with different ideas, if they're willing to step forward and step up, it would be a paid position. We just got to figure out lots of different things that go along with it, with like liability, liability insurance, pay, contract, making sure that the school's not at risk. So there's a lot of steps that need to be taken to get some of these outside people involved in this process. So it's not it's not like, hey, I'm willing to help, I'm a doctor, put me out on the field or whatever. It takes a little bit of extra work and things like that with others.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
If you have any remaining questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to email Superintendent Schmidt. This issue affects all of us. It is our job as a community to hold the admin accountable. This is Caden Nicholas signing off.